guys, and welcome back to Dino Reacts. So today guys, we are looking at one of my favourite holiday horror movies, Valentine. So Valentine, it was released in 2001, it was directed by Jamie Blanks and stars Denise Richards, Merle Shelton and David Boreanaz. The film itself follows 5 young women as they're kind of being stalked and harassed by a schoolmate they'd bullied almost 15 years earlier. So when the movie picks up, we find these 5 young women back in junior high and a young boy asks each of them on a date. Now bit by bit they all decline him, each making fun of him.
Dance with me? In your dreams, loser. Ew. I'd rather be boiled alive.
What I love about this movie guys, it's an old school slasher movie. This movie always has reminded me of the slashers from the 80s. It's a very simple premise, it's a simple story, and like a lot of slashers from the 80s, it's based on revenge. What's great as well, this has a little bit of an old slasher feel as well as some Scream vibes. We don't know who the killer is throughout the movie. We know there are a lot of male characters in this and one of them may be the killer. But there are a lot of red herrings in this movie. It constantly tries to throw you off the scent. Each of the 5 female characters are also quite stereotypical in how they're written, and they even say that in the movie itself. So they do kind of poke fun of certain characters that you get in horror movies. So you have Shelley, the smart girl, you have Lily, the kind of funny girl, you also have Denise Richards, Paige, who's the popular pretty girl in this, and you have Kate, who's the smart innocent girl out of the group. Capping all that off is Dorothy, who refers to herself as the fat girl, who's pretty much somebody with a lot of self-esteem issues, who unfortunately creates a lot of the havoc we see in this movie. Both kids, they go behind the stage and start making out. Unfortunately, they're caught by other classmates and Dorothy pretends he had actually assaulted her. So this character JM, Jeremy Melton, gets put away into a hospital and isn't seen since. That is until 2001, where each of them start getting Valentine's Day cards with a sinister message inside. Bit by bit they do start feeling that they are being stalked by someone unknown, maybe someone from their past, and a detective comes in when one of them gets murdered. What I like about this movie is the mystery and suspense. There are a lot of red herrings in this movie and there are a lot of suspects that you don't know which one could be the killer. Even with Jeremy Melton, the way they talk about him in this movie, he hasn't been seen for years, really since he was a little kid, so nobody would know what he looks like. This is also before Facebook, before Instagram or Twitter, where you look up old schoolmates online. Throughout the movie, each of the women have different suspicions from men who have come into their lives. I will say as well, that reminded me a lot of Black Christmas. With Black Christmas, I've always said you have a bunch of young women in this and all of the men are the suspects. We get the exact same thing here, and for the most part each of the suspects give a really good reason why it could be them. The killer himself, Jeremy Melton, is a really good killer as well. That Cupid mask he has on in this film is absolutely terrifying. You know, when he gives a kill in this movie, he gets this creepy ass nosebleed. He also, as I said, sends them Valentine's gifts or cards, each with sinister meanings. What I like as well is when he kills each of the girls in this, it actually refers back to what they said to him in those opening scenes. So one of the girls in particular, Shelley, she says, you know, in your dreams when he asks her out, she ends up in a body bag lying down with her throat slashed. Another character, Paige, she tells him, I'd rather be boiled alive, and you guessed it, she gets boiled alive. So he throws this kind of electronic drill into a jacuzzi and electrocutes her to death. The killer is very reminiscent of old school slashers. He doesn't run in this movie, he pretty much just walks. He has a really cool creepy mask on. For me, I've always wanted Valentine to have a few more sequels. I think he'd be a really good killer. There are also a lot of chase sequences in this movie and I absolutely love a good chase sequence. With this we get quite a few, so each of the characters kind of get their own time in the spotlight when it comes to their kills. You know, the opening kill in this movie with the character Shelley, played by Katherine Heigl, is one of the best chase sequences in the whole film, and that's in the first 10 minutes. As for the 5 female characters, they click really well in this movie. Their chemistry is actually quite good. Denise Richards as Paige is probably my favourite character in this, just because of the one-liners she gives. She's quite sassy, she has some great one-liners, and even when she meets the killer, that's a great scene. It's probably one of my favourite kills in the whole film. Now, our main final girl in this movie is Marley Shelton's character Kate, so she kind of has a romance with David Boreanaz's character. She is the main final girl in this. She's kind of the one you're meant to root for to get to the end. For me, I didn't really enjoy her character too much, as well as that when they looked back at junior high, she was the only one that didn't really make fun of Jeremy Melton, and I just thought that was a little bit of a cop-out. I like a movie that if you have these characters, you know, if there is retribution for what they've done, we want to see what happens. With her, I felt it was a bit of a cop-out. It was a bit of a way to make her survive maybe the end of the movie or not. Jessica Capshaw stars as Dorothy, so she's the girl that essentially put all of this into effect by pretending Jeremy had assaulted her. And you can see that in this movie that has still affected her to this day. She has a lot of self-esteem issues. She doesn't think she's good enough for any man. She also has a boyfriend in this, and it's kind of led to believe throughout the entire movie that we don't know why he is with her. Is he trying to steal her money? Is he over for revenge? Or is he Jeremy Melton? That's what I like about this. So many characters in this could be Jeremy Melton, so you're constantly guessing till the end of the movie. We primarily follow the characters of Kate, Paige and Dorothy. They're probably the big three characters in this movie, but even at that, all 5 characters and the side characters in this are quite interesting. They're quite fun characters. The kills as well, they are quite creative in this film. Someone gets shot off a balcony with a bow and arrow. We get someone getting electrocuted in a jacuzzi. So I did really like that. As well as that, the chase sequences are absolutely great. Throughout this whole film, multiple different characters, yes, they get their moment, but they get some great chase sequences. And each of the chase sequences, they are full of tension and suspense. I will say that this movie is definitely scary. It may not be the goriest, but it definitely has some suspense. Film itself, I would describe it as a mix between 80s slashers and 90s slashers. We get that good old 80s slashers revenge style storyline, but we also get that 90s slasher of who is the killer. That was a big thing in the 90s, and it definitely carries over into this movie. David Boreanaz, he plays Kate's boyfriend in this. He is probably the biggest character that we just don't know who he is. We don't know a lot about his past. We know he's an alcoholic and he was quite abusive maybe with Kate, but that's about it. As the film progresses, you do tend to like his character, you care for his character, but he is still quite mysterious. David Boreanaz at the time as well was coming off Angel, so it was a great person to get in just to kind of trick the audience to what they want to believe with him. I will say, guys, I do really enjoy this movie. I will always throw it on every Valentine's. The characters, yes, they are stereotypical, but they are also quite developed. We do spend a lot of time with these characters. Each of them have their own moment in the spotlight and their own separate storylines. As I said, there is not a lot of gore in this movie, but there is quite a lot of suspense and tension. And for me, I'll always take that before gore. All in all, guys, I think it's one of the best slashers we got from the early 2000s. We got great characters, an absolutely terrifying killer, and plenty of great deaths and chase sequences. If you like the movie yourself, guys, let me know what you like about it in the comments below. Don't forget, guys, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And until next time, Heidi ho.